In this video, I want to teach you the 3 things you can learn from Cardi B's new single, WAP. Hey everybody, this is Shontavia from Shontavia.com, and you're in the right place if you want to be inspired to build the brand and business you were made for. All right, so if you're like many people on Twitter, you were either up a little late last night or up early this morning. If you clicked on what was trending, you saw that nearly every trending topic was about Cardi B, Meg the Stallion, or Kylie Jenner, or this song called WAP. And if you clicked around like many people did, you saw that Cardi B released a new single at midnight on August, whatever today is. It's Friday, August, whatever date it is. And that video has really taken the internet and social media by storm. And y'all know me, I love to educate as much as I love to be entertained. And so I want to teach you, if you're an entrepreneur, especially if you're a Black woman entrepreneur, the 3 lessons you can learn from Cardi B's release of this new single, WAP. All right, so I'm gonna say first, if you have not heard the song, if you're one of the few people on the internet who have not heard this song, it ain't for your kids, it ain't for you to listen to with your mom or your grandma. This is a very, how can I say, this is a raunchy song, this is a nasty song, this is a song all about sex, and that is Cardi B's, really like her most authentic self. Like she says in the song, I'm a certified freak 7 days a week. And after listening to the song and after seeing her whole career, I believe every word she says at this point about the way she feels about sex and her sexuality. And hey, good for her. And that's really the first lesson you can take from Cardi B and from the release of this song. And it's to be your authentic self. I mean, you hear this a lot when you're starting a business, especially if you're starting a business based on your personality in some way. And you hear that a lot, but you know, people don't really know what it means to be themselves, especially if you live in the US. We are taught and trained not to be ourselves when it comes to our professional life, when it comes to our careers and that kind of thing. You are taught to get in line, to wear a suit, to use the King's English, to take your earrings off, to not be flashy. And this advice about being authentic is so incredibly important because this is how people relate to you. If you look like a carbon copy of everybody else in your career or your industry or your field, how are you ever going to stand out? And the thing that I love about Cardi B and her career is she has been her authentic self since she was on Love and Hip Hop. She ain't changed that much for nobody, and I doubt she ever will, because this is who she is. And being authentic is really her lane. So if you're wondering, how do I be authentic in my life? Look at Cardi B. She is your prototype. Like the first opening line of her song. She says, I'm a certified freak 7 days a week. That doesn't mean that's everything she is, but that is her being authentic. And a lot of us don't do that. We try to switch it up. We try to look the part or sound the part or change ourselves, our immutable characteristics, the things that we were born with, so that we can look and sound like other people. Sometimes, you know, that is I mean, I understand why you want to do that, particularly in certain careers and industries. But if you are looking to stand out, if you are looking to make a difference, if you are looking to build a personal brand, you are going to have to figure out what your authentic self is and show up into the world with that and be okay with that. I remember Oprah saying years ago in an interview that when she first got on television, like her producers and all the people who were working on her show, like some of them would tell her, you know, you're too rough around the edges, your hair doesn't look right, you're too fat, your nose is too big. She would laugh at herself on camera, and that was thought of as being unprofessional. But those were the things that endeared us to Oprah. Like all the other people who started when Oprah started, you probably ain't never heard of them. But Oprah has created this incredible business and brand because she was her authentic self. And Cardi B is doing the same thing. So there's a line toward the end of WAP that I think is hilarious where she says, I want you to touch that little dangly thing that swings in the back of my throat. Now, who knows what that thing is called? I actually looked it up because I didn't know. It's called the uvula or something like that. But if Cardi would have said, I want you to touch my uvula, nobody would have known what she was talking about. And she didn't worry about Googling it or looking it up on Wikipedia or anything. She used the language that she knew people would understand. And I mean, that's a little bit of an extreme example, but in your own business, in your own marketing, talk the way people talk. communicate with folks the way that you can communicate. I did a podcast episode with Kanika Tolver, and I'll drop the link in the show notes below for you in the description below. But she said the same thing. Be your authentic self. Everybody doesn't want the $20 words, and they don't want to have to Google everything that you say. Just give us the information, give us the things we need. And if you are authentic with yourself and with your audience, people will understand you and relate to you. So that's the first thing you can learn from Cardi B's WAP. Make sure you are authentic. And the reason that's important, and this is the second thing you can learn from Cardi B's release of WAP, is that you need to know your audience intimately. And so in business, this principle that revolves around knowing your audience intimately is called the ideal customer avatar. And you can see through Cardi's whole marketing campaign and release of the song, she knows her target audience. And I don't care what anybody says, WAP is a love letter to aunties. It is a love letter to Black women who were in their 20s and teens in the 90s. And I will explain why I think that. But Cardi knew her target audience and her ideal customer avatar intimately. So what is an ideal customer avatar? So the ideal customer avatar is basically an icon or figure representing a particular person, kind of like in a video game. So like if you've ever seen the movie Avatar, those blue things, there were human beings who were controlling those avatars in the film. Or if you play video games, you create an avatar that looks like you or looks like whoever, and you know everything about that person because you've created it. So according to Forbes magazine, the way you can define your ideal customer and your ideal customer avatar is basically like a detailed profile. It doesn't make any assumptions or categorize people into groups. It hones in on one person, the perfect person for your business, and it outlines everything about them. This goes into a lot more detail than the regular marketing persona because you get all these different targeting tools when you drill down to one person. So it's not just that Cardi said, hey, this song is for Black women. It's like this song is for aunties. So first of all, she released it at midnight. And so she knows her target audience is going to be up a little late. So they are already up on social or whatever. So she released the song at that time. And then look at her marketing strategy. So a few days before, she posted on Twitter and some other places, she was going to be selling tapes, CDs, and actual records that she would sign. And y'all damn near broke her website. The website went down because so many people wanted a signed tape, a signed LP, and a signed CD. And who is buying cassettes and CDs and records now? Probably not that many people, but those of us who are aunties, I guess I fit into that category. I'm darn near 40. It's not only, getting the sign thing from Cardi, but it's the nostalgia of cassettes. It's the nostalgia of LPs. It's the nostalgia, I can't even believe it that I'm saying this, but of CDs, which were really popular just a few years ago. So that is straight 90s. And then when you look at the song itself, the music behind the song, she samples Frank Ski's Hoes in This House. And if you were in college in the 90s, if you were in your teens in the 90s, if you were, a little kid who was sneaking and listening to this music in your mama's house in the 90s, you know that song very well because it was everywhere. There was a Doo Doo Brown mix, and if you don't know what Doo Doo Brown is, then you're probably not an auntie, right? And so Cardi's whole campaign around this song really, I don't care what you say. I just firmly believe this is a love letter to Black women and especially aunties. And then even if you look at the visuals and the clothes that her and Meg Thee Stallion are wearing and their hairstyles, it is very reminiscent of BAPS, which was a movie that came out featuring Halle Berry in 1997. And so all these references to Black women and to culture from the 90s means Cardi knows who she's talking to, right? And even though the video has, some things for the young people with Kylie Jenner, and I know y'all mad about Kylie. I'm going to talk about why I still think that's a good business move in a minute. And Normani, who is also a younger artist. I firmly believe this song is a love letter to aunties, especially aunties who are also content creators and entrepreneurs. And so knowing your ideal customer avatar is one of the most important things you can do for your business. And this is actually one of the things I teach in my Brand and Business Academy, where I teach people who mostly are working professionals how to start and grow their brands in 5 weeks or less. And we spend a whole session on marketing and identifying your ideal customer avatar, because you don't want to be fighting with people to sell your products and services to them. And you don't want to be creating things that people don't get. Like this whole WAP video, if you have seen BAPs, if you bought cassette tapes in the 90s, if you know Frank Ski's Hoes in This House, like those are things you didn't have to Google any of that. You didn't have to get on Twitter and figure out what any of that meant, because you knew it intimately. And if you are selling products and services to customers you know intimately, you are going to take away so many of the barriers that people start with in business. So that is the second lesson around Cardi B's WAP. Don't just sell to everybody. Know your target audience and know your ideal customer very, very intimately, even if that means creating an avatar where you figure out all the different details about those folks in their lives. Now, in the last half of this video, I'm going to give you another point of the third lesson that you can learn from Cardi B's release of her new single, WAP. But before I do that, make sure that you click like, make sure you subscribe. Also, I'm going to drop links to some more videos in the description below, so that if you are interested in starting your business and growing your brand, there are a couple of good places you can start. Videos I've created, I'll drop some links below. Now, the third lesson that you can learn from Cardi B's WAP is this: sometimes you need complementary business partners. You have to collaborate with other people, and Cardi did this masterfully. So she's got Meg Thee Stallion on the song, she has Kylie Jenner in the video, she has Normani in the video, there's some other influencers and models in the video that some of y'all know, and this is brilliant. I know you're mad about Kylie, but I still think this is brilliant, and here's why. There is a business principle called joint venture marketing, and in business, joint venture marketing is basically an agreement between two brands, two companies, two influencers, two entrepreneurs, in which both of those entities combine their marketing strategies to increase their share in the marketplace and increase their revenues. Joint venture marketing. And Cardi did this beautifully. So she's got Meg Thee Stallion on the song. Meg Thee Stallion is at the top of her game. She's on everybody's mind and everybody's lips right now for a lot of the good things that she's doing. She had an amazing performance at the BET Awards, and then unfortunately some of the other things that happened to her, which have been very tragic, like her getting shot in the feet and all of that. But she is on everybody's minds right now. She's got a song with Beyonce. She's doing all these amazing dynamic things while this woman is also finishing her college degree, which I don't know how she's doing that. But Meg Thee Stallion is an amazing collaborator because she's at the top of her game already, and she's not somebody who is going to be intimidated or threatened by partnering with a rapper who's been in the game a little bit longer, like Cardi B. And so this was not an instance where Cardi and Megan were trying to outshine each other or anything. They hopped on this song, they kept their same flow. Neither one of them tried to change it up to sound like the other. Cardi is from New York, Megan is from Houston. They have completely different sounds. They didn't try to change any of that up. They just came together to create a great song. And so with joint venture marketing, which is also called JV marketing, oftentimes the goal is to reach a market that would be interested in your stuff, but that might be a little bit different. So I'm sure there's a lot of overlap between Cardi's audience and Megan's audience, but they are not identical. But if I love Meg Thee Stallion and I don't know that much about Cardi, or I'm not that into her music, or vice versa, I'm still gonna listen to the song. I'm still probably gonna download the song. I'm gonna give it some clicks because one of those artists I am a fan of. And think about it. So this is Cardi B's song. If you're releasing a new product or a new service on the marketplace, you want as many eyeballs, you want as many clicks, you want as many people talking about it as you can find. So what better way to do that than by using JV marketing and by creating collaborative partners with people who already also have huge platforms that might be a little bit different from hers. And so this is where I'm going to talk about Kylie. So y'all are mad because Kylie was in the video for a few seconds and you think it should have been somebody else, like maybe Lil' Kim or Foxy Brown or whoever. And I don't disagree with that. I grew up listening to Lil' Kim on the school bus and then at parties in college and everything else. And I think that would have been a really smart move too. But we don't know what happened with Lil' Kim. We don't know if maybe Cardi asked her and she couldn't do it or whatever. But at any rate, it ended up being Kylie Jenner. And think about this, y'all. Now, Kylie Jenner has a huge platform. Media entities who are never going to cover Black women entrepreneurs are going to jump at the chance to talk about Kylie Jenner being featured in a rap video. Little girls who follow Kylie Jenner on Twitter, who never would have probably clicked on a Cardi B song or who don't even know who Meg the Stallion is, now do, because everybody's talking about the fact that Kylie is in this video. When I first clicked on WAP last night, so it was probably like 1 or 2 in the morning, I clicked on it from Twitter, and when I logged into Twitter, the number 1 trending topic on Twitter was Kylie Jenner. And a lot of y'all like to hate click on Kylie to see what in the world she's done now that you could be mad about. And that's okay. I mean, I'm not a Kardashian stan. I'm not a Jenner stan. I think most of the times I'm confused by what they're doing, even though I know they have dynamic brands and everything else. But the point is that Cardi created a video that has all of you talking about it, whether you're mad, whether you like it or whatever. And for the most part, the aunties who are talking about it on Twitter, or if you're not an auntie and you're still talking about it on Twitter, very few people are going to stop clicking, stop talking about the song, stop downloading the song because Kylie Jenner is in the video. Now, you might not like it, and I understand not liking it, but from a business perspective, if Cardi's goal is to create as much conversation, as many clicks, as many downloads as possible, girl, mission accomplished. You have done that completely in so many different ways. And this is not a new strategy. So from the time the United States created intellectual property law in 1790, Black inventors would use white business partners or white people they would pay to file their patent applications, to go into business meetings and pretend to be the owner of an invention, because there were many white people who would partner with a white inventor and a white business person, but who wouldn't partner with a Black person or with a Black inventor. And so this is something that Black creators, Black entrepreneurs, Black inventors, this is a strategy we have had to use for many years in the United States, because we just don't have a level playing field. I know many of you think, well, Cardi has a huge platform, everybody would want to work with her and everybody will write about her anyway, but that just is not true. When you look at the data around how Black artists are reported and covered and treated in the United States especially versus white artists, it is very different, even for people at the top of their game. And so using JV marketing, using this strategy the way Cardi has used this strategy, I think was good for business. And I think we as entrepreneurs, especially Black women, we need to be thinking about that too, right? Like, where are there places where we can create affiliate agreements, where we can be collaborative with other people who may not look like us, but who may be a good joint venture partner. And I'm not saying that's something you always need to do. I'm not saying you need to sell out or not be true to whatever your brand is, but we have to collaborate with other people, and we have to collaborate not just with each other. I mean, we should be collaborating with each other, do not get me wrong, but there's opportunities for everybody to eat. There's opportunities for us to use somebody else's privilege to our advantage. And that's what I see Cardi doing with Lord, what's the child's name? With Kylie Jenner. Maybe they have a great working relationship, maybe they are friends or whatever, but Kylie Jenner walks into the door with a certain kind of privilege that Cardi B, Meg the Stallion will never have. I don't care what y'all say, you can argue me down if you want, but that is just the truth. And this song, using these strategies that I just mentioned, is #1 on iTunes. It is trending on Twitter. It's got got millions of views on YouTube in less than 24 hours. And so I think Cardi has accomplished all the things that she had set out to accomplish, particularly using these 3 strategies, which again are being authentic was the first one, knowing your audience intimately, and then number 3, working with complementary business partners. Now, what lessons did you take from WAP? I know a lot of us are just being entertained by the song right now. We just like listening to it. We like talking about it. But what are the lessons you took away from WAP, particularly if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a creator, if you're a person who's creating a personal brand or want to be an influencer or whatever? What lessons did you take? I would love to hear from you in the comments. Now, if you like this video, I post videos like this every day on my YouTube channel at Shontavia.tv. If you like them, if you like this one, please go ahead and subscribe so that you get notices when I post new things. Make sure you like it and share it with a friend. Share it with somebody who you think might also be interested in this information. And if you're interested in creating your own brand and your own business, make sure you check me out at brandandbusinessacademy.com. That is the program that I've created to help working professionals and people who want to be entrepreneurs create their personal brand and their business in 5 weeks or less.